New information in the Derek Carr saga. Okay, we got the Cell saga, Boo saga, Android saga, Namek saga, and now the Derek Carr saga. Ladies and gentlemen, Jane Slater has a report. We're going to listen to her video, then we're going to look at the report, dissect it, talk about it like only I can do. Peek behind the curtains. Currently, I've got a huge leak in the roof. It is a crazy thunderstorm in New Orleans today. When I'm filming this, a lot of people would have said, I'm not doing a video. I said, put a bucket down. I got to talk to the people.
Interesting stories that have had twists and turns, and this might be one of the more interesting ones I've covered, Tom, in my now almost 10 years here at the NFL Network. When I was in New Orleans, it came out ahead of the draft that Derek Carr had this shoulder injury, and I think it shocked actually.
All right, so we're going to try and do a bullet point for each slot on the timeline. Slot 1. All right, and this story's got more twist than the Auntie Anne's pretzel, son. More twist than the glazed raisin, son. First dot on the timeline is about 10 days before the draft. Carr's team leaks, no pun intended with the roof. Carr's team leaks that there's an injury. Could be season ending, could be season threatening.
A lot of people even that are familiar with the team and work around the facility. And Mickey Loomis wasn't elaborating on it despite getting pressed by reporters.
Okay, at the draft, we covered this. Both Kellen and Mickey both said, we have no clue. We don't have clarity on it, was their exact quote. We have yet to receive clarity on it. We're hoping to get it after the draft, all right? So let's just draw a fact there and say, at that point, Derek had not been to the facility, had not been in contact with the team, had not been working with the team or whatever. Since then, all right, so the draft was a couple of weeks ago. Since then, it seems like things have quickened, which we aren't surprised. All right, I've got a lot of pee-pee, poo-poo pants babies who are saying, see, Derek has been to New Orleans. Okay, if he came last week, if he was in New Orleans 5 days ago, that doesn't change anything. We know the timeline. We know that the OTA starts in less than 2 weeks. We know Carr could be a June 1st cut. We know all the other teams are ramping up. So if Carr wants to play this upcoming season, he's got to do something quick. So it makes total sense that they're going to do their due diligence, get the injury stuff figured out, figure out what exactly is going on, and then where he's going to go. The most surprising thing still would be if he plays for the Saints, I think. That would still be the most surprising outcome, would be if he plays for the New Orleans Saints. And I think everyone who covers this team would agree that that's the most unlikely outcome.
I've asked a lot of questions, and I'm sure they're very similar to the fans. Well, when did this shoulder injury take place? Well, I've gotten just a little bit more information today. It's my understanding that Derek Carr absolutely believes that this shoulder injury took place during the same game that he injured the wrist. Now, why are we just hearing about it now?
Okay, this part doesn't mean anything to me. No offense. We know what he believes. David has already said it. David has already said he believes the injury happened the last game against the Giants when he dove over, broke his hand, hurt his wrist, gave himself a concussion, and everything else. All right? I did a video that is scheduled that was going to go out today, but I had to reschedule because of this information. Albert Breer from Sports Illustrated in that video said that this is a 2.5-year-old injury.
There's the shoulder issue, which, the team feels like is a 2-year-old issue that, does it have to be handled right now?
Okay. So Albert Breer from the NFL, sources say, okay, just like every other reporter's, tweets would be, that the injury is 2.5 years old. Now we're hearing what David Carr and Derek's team have already put out there, that it happened against the Giants. I'm not saying that David Carr is her sources, but everything in her tweet is what we've already heard from David Carr.
That's what he's working through, and the Saints have been aware of this shoulder injury since the moment that it happened. Derek really believes that it happened in the game where he broke his wrist. And after the adrenaline wears off, you don't really throw. He didn't throw a ball really at game level tempo after that because he was trying to get back from that injury. So by the time they were able to go throw the ball again, it was still there. The shoulder was still bothering.
Well, it's my understanding that he wasn't really throwing, obviously, after he injured the wrist.
Exactly what Carr said.
You know, afterwards, they were essentially eliminated from contention. And he really didn't start throwing a bunch until about here lately, as he was getting ready to start ramping up for the spring. And that's when he noticed that he had this issue in his shoulder. So it's my understanding that he has had surgery to that shoulder before, because there are plenty of fans out there, and I've seen people, you know, on the airways, well, why doesn't he just go get shoulder surgery? Let's knock this thing out. Let's get a resolution. Sounds like he's trying to avoid that, but he wants to see if he can actually play through with this shoulder injury. The other thing that's come up, Tom, is I've heard people down in New Orleans say, well, where is Carr? Why isn't he around the...
All right, so let's talk about the surgery thing. Again, all of this, like, and remember, I was a reporter for a Pulitzer Prize-winning newspaper. No one can read between the lines like me. All of this, to me, sounds like just rehashing and re-saying all the stuff the Carr camp has already said. And all of this seems like it makes perfect sense for what they want to do. It seems like him saying, well, I don't really want to have surgery. I would prefer to rehab it and play. No one should be surprised about that because he wants to play for a different team. So if he gets traded to the Steelers, or if he gets sent somewhere else, or if the 49ers come calling or whatever, then yeah, he's going to play through it, rehab it, not have surgery. All right? That's a big nothing burger. Like, all that is saying he might have surgery, he might not have surgery. We've known that. That hasn't changed anything. All he's saying is Derek Carr believes it was hurt in the Giants game. We know that. We talked about that with David Carr. The timeline of the injury is important because that affects when it happened and what the team can do financially and the contract and everything. It would behoove Derek for this injury to happen with the Saints. It would behoove the Saints for this injury to happen 2.5 years ago. Okay? Well, it would really behoove the Saints if this happened on a ski trip or something. But for the Saints, they're hoping, yeah, this injury was 2.5 years ago, whatever, blah, blah, blah. For Derek, he's hoping with the Giants. So, again, like, a lot of this stuff, it's just, this goes back to my original point. We are going in circles here, and there is no winner. There is no loser. I don't care if Derek rehabs it. I don't care if Derek has surgery. I don't care if Derek hurt it against the Giants. I don't care if Derek hurt it when he's playing for the Raiders. It doesn't matter to me. All that matters to me is we get to a resolution. And that's what I think is crazy, is the pee-pee-poo-poo pants who come in here and they're like, look, Derek said this. It's like, I don't care what Derek said. Just figure it out. Either play for the Saints or play for someone else. This song and dance we're doing, that is the problem. Could care less. If he goes to the 49ers, goes to the Steelers, I'll drive him to the airport. Okay? If he needs a ride, I'll drive him. I don't care. But I am over and have been done with this. I've been done with this right here. This, where is he? When did he get hurt? Is he hurt? Is he doing that? And that's why I said in the video on Tuesday that it's better for the team to just get to the end. It's better for Kellen Moore. It's better for Mickey Loomis. It's better for the fans. It's better for Tyler Shough. It's better for Spencer Rattler. It's better for everyone. Just move forward in whatever direction you're going to move forward. If that's with Carr, then say it. Announce it. Say, look, we're going to do everything we can in our power to get Derek Carr to play for the New Orleans Saints in week 1. He's going to rehab it. He's going to do what he can do. That's our plan. Then just say that. Do that. Put that out there. Like, this report is getting a bunch of headlines, a bunch of retweets, a bunch of whatevers, but in reality, ladies and gentlemen, it's saying the same thing that we knew for the last 60 days, that the relationship is up in the air. Will he play or will he not play? Is he hurt or is he not hurt? When did he get hurt? None of that is fixed. None of that has been factualized, and none of that has been advanced. This is just the same old song. This is the exact same David Carr announcement on an NFL Network in a different form.
Building, it's a new coaching staff. Why isn't he contributing more? He is the face of the franchise. Well, it's my
hold on. I'm the face of the franchise. Okay. Do not get that twisted. I'm the face. Okay.
Understanding that he has been down to New Orleans twice in the last few weeks. He's met with the team doctor at the facility. Now, it's unclear if he's met with Kellen Moore in person. I know that he and Kellen Moore have at least talked, but it doesn't sound like, and I've heard this because, living here in Dallas, I've got a lot of friends that are Saints fans. I know a lot of people in New Orleans. It was beginning to feel like maybe Carr was giving them the middle finger down there. It is my understanding, according to someone close to him, that that is not the case here. He is trying to figure out what makes the most sense for his shoulder, and he is in constant communication with Mickey Loomis, but that sounds like there's going to be a decision sooner rather than later. So that's all the update that I can give you. I wish that I had more, but that's more than we've had in the last couple of weeks, Tom.
No, it's not. It's the exact same. It is 100% the exact same. From her understanding and from her sources or whatever, it's that they're just trying to figure things out. And they still don't have an idea of anything, right? And then the whole last couple of weeks, it is exactly what we thought was going to happen. The last few weeks goes along perfectly with the timeline. The draft was a couple of weeks ago. At the draft, Mickey and Kellen said they had no clarity on the situation. All of a sudden now he's been to see team doctors in the last couple of weeks. Okay, if you've got a kid and that kid hasn't cleaned his room in 4 months and you keep harping on him, he's like, well, what do you mean I cleaned my room? It's like, you just did it just now. That doesn't change the fact that you haven't done it for 4 months, okay? Same thing with here. That doesn't change nothing. It doesn't change for the last couple of weeks or however long. It's like, where has he been? Why isn't he here? We just got a new head coach. All that, just like she said, source to her understanding, her sources say they can't confirm all these qualifiers that Derek and Kellen have even met face to face. So I don't care if he's been here in the last 10 days to get a doctor to look at his shoulder or however it worked out. He snuck through a back door and saw a doctor for none of that matters. Again, we've got to get to the actual resolution quicker than later, which lines up for Carr and for the Saints because the season's right around the corner. The season's right here. So this does have to come to a head sooner rather than later, which we said in Tuesday's video. All this right here, I'll go ahead and tell you this just from a PR standpoint. This is agent talk to ramp up the conversation. I'm not saying this is how this is working out with Jane or whatever. I'm not saying that she's getting fed this information from an agent or from David Carr, but a lot of the times whenever you're looking at negotiations or draft stock or whatever, you get fed information that whoever wants out there. Just like with Trey Lance. Adam Schefter came out with Trey Lance when he was being shopped from the 49ers. Adam Schefter came out with a report that said the 49ers are taking multiple calls for Trey Lance, which everyone knew was not true, and everyone knew was leaked from the 49ers to make it sound like there's interest in Trey Lance when there really wasn't. All right, so that happens all the time. So all of this, to me, is exactly what that is. All of this is, the way I see it, an ad from the Carr camp to other teams in the NFL. We're going to figure something out soon. He might not have to have surgery. Don't worry. He's been with the Saints. This is a recent injury. It's not something that's debilitating. It's not something that's been happening for years. He's working with the Saints. Call the Saints if you want to trade for Derek or you want to that's all this is to me. But this is the tweet that then led to the video here. So there it is. I mean, I would call this a nothing burger. I do think it is, again, sad that the Carr faithful are, hanging the banner and they're waving the flag with this printed on it saying, see, we told you, when really nothing's happened. I want Derek to play for the Steelers or the 49ers or whoever as much as the next guy. All right, I'm rooting for Derek. But as the face of the New Orleans Saints, I have to say what's best for the Saints. And what's best for the Saints, what's best for my own mentality, what's best for really everyone in the city, is for the Saints and Derek to move on and to separate. And this kind of information, the longer this goes on, it's just the more drawn out and the more tiresome it gets. So there you go. I haven't decided yet if we're going to release the other. We have 2 videos. One reviewing the David Carr, Tyler Shough thing. One with the Albert Breer information with Derek. We probably will release them anyways, and I might just do like a little PSA in the middle of it because they are so good videos. I mean, come on. So who knows? But we'll see what happens. But there you go. We had to talk about it. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video.